minutes of the show. Hey, what's going on? It's another episode of the Tyler Lurie podcast. I'm here in studio with Raquel. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to have a great time. I'm excited to introduce her. What's going on, Rock?
Hey, Tyler. How are you? Thank you for having me. So exciting.
Absolutely. Rock's been with me. We've been training now for, it's going to be 2 years in May, and everybody at the gym knows her. She's been a huge success story. She's one of the biggest weight loss people that we've had, but besides that, she's just an awesome human being. She really inspires everybody. We have so much fun. And how much weight have you lost since?
A total of 90 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
90 pounds. It's really amazing. We met each other at a time, and we both needed each other. I know I've talked about this in previous podcasts with other students and stuff, but it's really amazing how far you've come, and we've grown together. Really.
Oh yeah, for sure. When I came to you in May of 2018, and at that time I didn't know that I wanted to start losing weight. I just wanted to try a new place, and it actually took me 2 weeks to actually have the guts to come inside. I drove past the gym for like 2 weeks, first because I couldn't find it because it was in the back of the gymnastics place. And then
that damn back door entrance.
The back entrance.
It's gonna be the death of me. I'm telling you, we need that storefront. We'll get there.
But I saw someone leave with like the Lurie Fit gym bag.
That's it. That branding.
So I finally came in, and I remember the day like it was yesterday. It was a rainy day. I had this hideous black trench coat on, and I come in, and here's this happy guy, all smiles. So I was so nervous. I was like, hey, how are you? Like, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Tyler. And I was like, oh, hi. I just want to come try out a class. And he was like, sure. Do you want to come right now and try? I was like, no. I was like, I'll come back tomorrow because I didn't have any of my clothes with me. But I felt your vibe right away. And the next day I said, you know what, just try, give it a go. And I loved it from the first day. Yeah.
That's amazing because, this funny story, like you say, I was this happy, smiley guy that day. But I remember that day, too. I remember that was a rough day for me for some reason because, whenever you're starting anything new, there's always going to be trials and tribulations. And I really wanted to help people. I was having trouble struggling getting people in and signing people up. Like you said, it took 2 weeks. People are nervous. The back door entrance, but you saw the bag and you got in. But I was like that day, too. I was like, why is it so hard to help people? Like, I just want to legitimately help people. And it was like you came, and you needed my help, and I needed your help at the same time, and we helping each other. I remember I looked you dead in the eye, and I said, if you come with me, I got you.
I remember. And it's true, you kept your word. Like, every step, what I really... I'm sorry.
That's all good.
Left you hanging. No, what I really appreciate about you is that from the first day you never made me feel like because I was overweight that I couldn't do anything you taught in class. If anything, you're like, why not?
Yeah.
And in my mind going in, it's like, no, I can't do these things because I'm overweight and I'm out of shape. And like I said, being an overset person coming into a gym and seeing people doing all these moves, I remember seeing distinctively Dale and Melanie. Hey, Dale. Hey, Mel.
They're listening. Shout out.
Shout out. I remember seeing these two women. I was like, oh, my God, these ladies are, amazing. Look at them move. And I was like, I can never do that. My coordination is awful. I'll never be able to do that. But I just said, this kept coming back. And I said, I can only get better from here. And, yeah.
I know the beautiful thing. Now people walk into the gym, and they have that sight of you that you had of Melanie and Dale. They say, wow, look at that girl hitting and kicking in the way that she's moving. And I don't know if I could ever move like that.
Yeah.
And we're here to tell people you can.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I don't like to say, if I can do it, anyone can do it. But I did. At my highest weight, I came into the gym at 290 pounds, not being able to move. I think just before I came into your gym, I just started walking. And walking 2 blocks was just a lot. I was like, and I'm like, there's no way I can do it. And then when I went to your first class, we have the warm up, 20 jumping jacks, 20 push-ups, 20 crunches. And I was like, this is warm up? I thought this was the workout and we're done. But like I said, I just had the mentality, just take it one day at a time, and you'll get there. And a year and a half later, here we are talking.
And like, I know pain, and I saw you were in like pain. You wanted change.
Oh yeah,
Like
for
I
sure.
could, and I could identify with that. I saw like the way you were there, like you wanted help. And
Oh,
like I saw that, and I'm like just thinking about that. You've lost 90 pounds since then. It's just so amazing, and that we've come so far, and everything's changed for you. Your whole lifestyle, your dieting, the way you cook, eating, everything. I mean, like I said, you're even people come in now and look up to you, and other people on their weight loss journey, they look up to you and they're inspired by you. You're like the poster child of like weight loss. You know,
yeah.
it's really amazing how far you've come.
Yeah, and when I came in, I never set out to be like a role model for anyone. I just wanted to make that change for myself. I said to myself, Raquel, you've let this got too far. You have to make a change. There's more you can do. You're so much better than what you're doing now. And yeah, and I didn't want to tell people that I was gonna start losing weight or start working out, because there's always that fear of failure, feeling, And there's been so many times I said, oh, I'm gonna start losing weight. I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna start eating healthy, and then that would last for like 2 weeks, and then I would fall off the wagon. And so I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. I just, like I said, take it one day at a time, and something just clicked for me. It wasn't any particular thing. It wasn't the fact that I was really overweight. It just I always tell people, you're ready when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can tell you, you're sick, you're gonna die if you don't lose weight, or give you all the reasons in the world to start to get healthy, but you have to just be ready. It doesn't mean you don't necessarily want it. It's just you're ready to do it and you're ready to make that change. And it doesn't mean when you decide to make the change that it's easy from then on. It's just, yeah, you're ready.
Yeah. Enjoying the journey, enjoying every step, enjoying the failures, knowing that each failure is bringing you closer. And it's not easy to do. I mean, that takes coming back from failures before you realize that that's the pattern.
Yeah.
You have to fail in order to learn what you did wrong and then fix it and then do it again. So it's just like different levels of life, different, and that's it. You've been doing awesome. And besides that, with your martial arts, it's been amazing watching you grow. You've gotten into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now.
Yes, I did. Another thing, too, when I first started, I was still kickboxing at the time. And I remember just seeing you and Corey rolling around for a bit after class. And I remember saying, oh, Tyler, is it okay if I watch you guys for a bit? Because it really captured my attention and I wanted to see what it was about. And again, I never thought I would do it. I just thought I'd watch you guys a few times and that would be it. But I loved it. And I said, Raquel, if you come this far, you tried kickboxing, just try it. The worst thing that happen, you won't like it, or you won't be good at it, and then you can stop. It's, no pressure. But I fell in love with the sport, and also Corey, too, has been so great. Corey, shout out to Corey.
Yeah, Corey is he's the man. He's a foundational part of the gym as well. He was the winner of the did he?
Naga, his very first match, he won. Yeah.
No, he won the 90-day challenge. He won the 90-day
challenge. Oh, he did.
Challenge.
I wasn't there, though.
He won the second annual 90-day challenge.
Yes, which is also a great thing for him, too.
Which we're doing a 90-day challenge is also starting in February 24th, which
February
just in that
24th.
90 alone last year, you lost like...
A lot, I think about 30 pounds or so.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. I think 30 pounds. But back to the jiu-jitsu.
You competed. You got all the way to compete. You actually
did.
competed 2 weeks ago.
I did.
And it was such a super proud moment to see you out there and moving better and faster. And some people go slower under the bright lights, but you were looking the best you ever looked.
I didn't feel that way. I remember it was my very first match, and before I signed up, it was actually when we went to go see Corey in Brooklyn when he competed. And that night after I left, Corey, whether he knows it or not, was really an inspiration for me too, because seeing him and how far he's come, his growth alone, and then being brave enough to go out and decide, you know what, I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna give it a try. Um, his courage gave me the courage to do it also, because I don't think if it wasn't for him, I would have the courage to do it. I saw him, and then after seeing him compete that night at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, I signed up for Naga.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, and there was a part of me that was hesitant to do it because, again, when you're afraid to do things, fear keeps you from doing things. But I wanted to do it, and I said, okay, Raquel, just give it a try. I was like, if you don't sign up now, you're going to just lose your courage to do it. So do it. And then the next day I came to you.
That.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The next day I came to you and was like, oh, hey, Taylor, can I talk to you? Yeah, so I signed up for Naga.
She's like talking to me. I think like something horrible has happened. Can I talk to you? I signed up now. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And so you signed up, Corey signed up, I signed up. We all got to compete together. It was amazing. Well, I got to coach you guys. I got to compete. I got to go against my first black belt. I stepped my game up in competition.
Yeah, watching you compete was also another amazing thing. It's one thing when you're teaching in class, but seeing you in your element was also an incredible experience, how you move, and it was great. And having you there and Corey and having you guys as support was definitely made it that much more better. And people from the gym, my family came, and having everyone's support really meant a lot, because the day itself is a lot of pressure and nerves and adrenaline are going.
Everything.
Yeah.
I was happy to go out there and get the W for you guys to get a win out there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Was awesome.
Tyler did so great with his belt and everything, and yeah, like I said, it was just amazing just watching you do it. It was a great day. It was awesome.
It was an awesome experience being out there in front of you guys. Like I said, the only thing better than being on the podium by myself was being able to be on there with you guys. It was awesome. I never imagined. I always wanted to win some sort of belt or some sort of medal, but I never imagined that it would be with my students as well, which really took it up to a whole nother level, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Experiencing the other thing you were talking about the pressure to sign up and the fear and all that stuff. Yeah. What I realized is, the more I could put myself in those sort of pressure situations, or safe, obviously, pressure situations, when you come out of them, win, lose, or draw, you come out of them a better person just because. Win, lose, or draw, you came out of that tournament just better. How good did you feel that night?
Oh, yeah, I felt amazing. Had you told me a year and a half ago I would be where I'm at, competing in jiu-jitsu, doing kickboxing, lose the amount of weight that I've lost.
You ran 3-mile race?
Yeah, I did a 3-mile. Barely. I walked 3 miles. So many other things. Just my way of thinking, how my outtake on life, how I look at food, everything is just so much has changed for the better. And I owe a lot of that to you too. Like I said, having support from people and people who really believe in you when it's not just, oh yeah, good job. But I felt that right away from you. Kind of taking a detour of what we're talking about. But before I joined Lurie Fit, I was really looking for a gym. I wanted a place where I wanted to be consistent and a place where I felt at home, because a lot of times people join gyms and the gym can get boring, the treadmill, weights, unless you really love to do that and that doesn't bore you. But after a while, that gets boring. So I was like, I want to try something different. And I started doing my research, so then I put kickboxing near me. And it just happened you were a few blocks away from where I live. That's awesome. And I came across actually the first 90-day challenge page on YouTube. Nice. I saw the whole video. And
shout out to Jenny Fabes, the winner of the first annual 90-day challenge. She was in studio.
Jen too. Shout out to Jen too. Jen is awesome. Her energy also within my first couple of months of being there, also supportive. She's like, okay, Rock, you ready to go? Da, da, da. And I was like, okay, Jen, yes, I'm ready to go. And always just full of energy, full of life. Again, all that good energy really rubbed off on me. And but back to when I was watching your video, I was like, wow, this guy is real. He's genuine. He's honest. He's really passionate about what he does. He wants to help people. It's not, you can see through the BS when people talk, and I didn't feel that at all, and I didn't feel that from the first day when I met you either. And so it was just like a no-brainer when I signed up that day. It was just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's sick. And, like, yeah, the fighting, and you're a big fan. You like to watch the UFC and all the fights, so you're getting into the game. Who you got for Khabib versus Ferguson?
I think Khabib is going to win.
Ooh, I
do.
Listen, just going alone off of stats, Khabib hasn't lost, right? Mm-hmm. But Tony's been on a tear, and I don't know. Khabib puts him right where right where Tony kind of wants to be, on his back. He could fight on his back. If he cuts him with an elbow like he cuts everybody, it could be over. But
honestly, I think in this sport too, it's anyone's game. I also think it just who has the better day, right?
Yeah,
all these fighters, they train hard for months and months and months, and just everyone's skill set is different. So I think you have to prepare. It's not just luck. You have to train for these type of fights.
Dude, that Cowboy Cerrone,
I know, yeah,
versus Conor. Holy shit!
I know. I don't think. I kind of felt Conor was gonna win anyway, but not the way he did. I don't think anyone expected that.
I think that if Conor fights Khabib, it could be like for the second fight. If they fight, it's gonna be first. Khabib has to fight Tony, but if Conor somehow gets another fight and then wins, and he gets back to Khabib and they fight for a second one, since they had that huge scuffle at Madison Square Garden, or I think it was at the Garden where they jumped out of the cage and everything. No, it was in Vegas. I think that if they have that second fight and then win, lose, or draw, they give like a real Rocky speech, like a Rocky IV draw. Yeah. If I can change and you can change, we could all change kind of speech. Like, I think that could be a beautiful moment where combat sport really brings the world together. And I hope that moment happens, because it could be a really beautiful moment for combat sports. And to bring people together, to show that like everybody from here or there, even though we're fighting. And that's what I love is with fighting, is that it brings people together. Especially, I love the jiu-jitsu.
Ironically, you would think it wouldn't. This is a very violent sport.
Jiu-jitsu is a gentle art. Yeah. MMA is violent and striking is violent, but they call jiu-jitsu the gentle sport, and they call striking the sweet science.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love rolling jiu-jitsu too, because all these times, like, you'd be trying to talk to people. People are disconnected so much in this world. But when you're fighting somebody, you have their attention. There is no disconnect. They are not texting. They're not thinking about something. If they are, they're in trouble. Like, when you're rolling, you and that other person are communicating. And it's like you have their individual attention. And I think that's why I love fighting so much too, is because I always wanted attention, like, as a kid. And when you're fighting, like, now I have your attention. Like, give me your attention. Give me your attention. Like, now you have somebody's attention. So I think it's cool that then you build a connection with people through it, and we're building together a trust and everything, because you put people in. You have to trust your partners not to hurt you and stuff like that.
For sure. I mean, I love this sport too, because you always learning, and you think you have something down pat, and then you do something in practice. It happens to me all the time when I'm rolling or I'm rolling with you, with Corey, and you do something. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Always learning. And I think since I started kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, like, I found a new inner strength. Like, I feel like, like, I'm tough. Like, I can do that.
Yeah, see when you break through. Yeah.
Yeah. And
get me all tired of striking, and all of a sudden she's like,
It's like, how can I describe it? It's like, or like, it's like Beyonce's alter ego, right? So it's like, because I'm a very loud and obnoxious person, right? No, but I'm very, I guess, cool.
You're so quiet. She's not.
I guess I'm more quiet and introverted, and then with the jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, it just brings another side out where I feel more stronger. I feel more confident. Like, I feel like, like, I can do anything.
It's your warrior spirit.
Yeah.
You have the warrior spirit, and, like, rock don't tap.
No.
Like, this girl does not want to tap. You break her arm. She's like, no. I'm like, I'm letting go because I want you to be able to train for the next 2 months.
That's how my mentality in when I had my competition. I was like, if they have to send me out in a stretcher, so be it, but I refused to tap. And it happened in the second match where the girl was like really choking me, and my face was turning colors, but I was like, you're not tapping.
And is beautiful because you have such a hard work like ethic. I could just tell. I see you coming from work with your clothes, wearing your work clothes. You change, then you're there, you're working out for hours sometimes the whole time I'm teaching classes. I'm like,
Yeah.
you want to, like you're here the whole time, still here. It's amazing, and I think you have such good work ethic because of the way you grew up, right? Like from your mother.
For sure.
As we talk, like I met your mom. She was at the tournament. I got to meet everybody.
She was.
And she raised you, right?
Yeah, I just grew up with my mom. I'm a single mom. My mom always worked 2 or 3 jobs to help. So my mom is really who I am today as a person. I owe all to my mom because just if anyone is my role model and who I aspire to be, it's definitely her. She always taught me to respect people, to work for everything you have. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, she's everything to me, and she inspires me all the time and motivates me just to be a better me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, you have incredible work ethic, and I could see that you got that like from your mom. You said, did she come from another country to America?
She did. So my mom is originally from Guatemala. She come from a family of she's the second youngest of 8 kids, and ironically, before she came here, she was telling me a story when she was growing up how one day my grandfather, cause it was like a big table like this, and everyone was sitting around the table and everyone was having dinner. And so my grandfather asked all my aunts and uncles, out of everyone who would like to go to America or United States, because going to the United States was like, wow, like a big thing. And everybody raised their hand. My mom was the only one who didn't. She's like, why do I want to go? It's not my country. It's not my language. I don't know anybody there. And ironically, she is the only one who ended up staying here because all of our family lives over there in Guatemala now. She came when she was 18. She had no money, no English. She didn't know anybody here, and she really made it for herself. I never grew up having a lot physically or rich, but I never felt poor, if that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah, like I knew I wasn't like other kids where I didn't have materialistically all the fancy stuff, but my mom always gave me a house full with love and caring, and I think that is just so much, it values so much more, because I think materialistically you can have everything in the world, but you could be so empty inside. Mm-hmm. I could talk about my mom for days.
No, I think it's beautiful. I think you really did, from her like work mentality of coming here with nothing.
Yeah.
That rubbed up on you, and that's why you have such amazing work ethic when it comes to gym, when it comes to life, when it comes to everything. Like, if you want something, you've seen how your mom got after it.
Yeah.
And you were able to get after it. And that's amazing. And you said, like, you were moving around. You went to different schools and stuff.
Yeah. So I went to Catholic school my entire life. Like my mom said, my mom was always wanted to give me a good education. And up until the 8th grade, unfortunately, with the Catholic school system, there or especially when I went, there wasn't a lot of kids. So a lot of schools I went to ended up closing down because we just didn't have a lot of students. And so I ended up switching schools around a lot. I went to an all-girl high school, but yeah, I switched schools a lot. But I think everything that happened in my childhood, things that were rough, there was times where my mom and I were just broke. We didn't have anything. So I think in those dark times, I tell people that when you're really going through it and things are rough and you don't see a light, it prepares you for moments like these where it's really gets tough. If I can make it through times when I didn't have anything, when things were really bad, I can do it through anything. And I just try to have that mentality even now within my weight loss. There are so many days where I'm like, Raquel, you can't do this, or like, how did you let yourself get this far? And it's more days when people ask me, Raquel, how do you do it? How do you keep losing weight and not lose your motivation to do it? People don't know 95% of the time I don't want to eat healthy. I don't want to exercise.
That's
I mean,
the truth.
yeah, I know. As much as I love going to the gym and seeing all you guys and working out, there's just days, especially if I have a bad day. Like sometimes you just like I can't be bothered. But I try not to bring that energy into the gym because everyone's going through stuff.
That's it.
And you can't take that on other people. Everyone has things that they're going through. But I just say, one day at a time.
That's it. And
one day at a time.
That's a lot. And that's with everything. Like, if you walked in and day one, I'm like, you're going to lose 90 pounds and you're going to do a jiu-jitsu tournament and you're going to, like, it's a lot. And I tend to do that a lot of the times with, like, business and with things. You want this, that, especially with tournaments. Like, I want to line this one up, that one. Just think about the one thing that's ahead of you. Just get the first thing done and then worry about the next thing. Because what happens is if you worry about too much, then it all seems impossible, and then you end up you say, fuck it, and you end up getting nothing done.
Yeah.
So it's important to, but over time, you learn these things about yourself. You keep on putting yourself in these pressure situations, and you keep on overcoming them.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, but how do you feel after the gym?
Great. I feel so good. The hardest part is just getting to the gym.
90% of life is showing up.
I totally agree. Yeah, for sure. Most of the time, I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to go. But I'm like, you know what? Just go. And that's why I pack my stuff in my car. Because if I go home, I'm like, it's a wrap. I'm not going back outside. But like I said, and two, coming to Lurie Fit and seeing him, it's like a stress reliever. I remember Dale saying too, it's kind of like a home away from home for that hour or for how long I'm there, more 3 hours sometimes with jiu-jitsu and weight training. I could just forget about everything that's bad that's going on. I can focus on training. I can focus on getting better. And it's just a place, where it's my happy place now.
Do you know who said that quote, 90% of life is showing up?
No, I don't. Who said that?
That would be Mr. Woody Allen from the New York films that he's made. I've been having fun doing a Woody voice, but that's his name, correct? Yeah, Woody Allen, the guy that he married his stepdaughter.
Did he?
Yeah, he was a very sick man, but she was over the age, so it was all good. She was helping me be a production assistant for one of my films.
Yeah, I guess whatever floats your boat, right?
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? No, definitely not. That's not cool.
No.
But I was going to tell you, I remember you were telling me about this shit that when you and your family, if you have a drink, you were telling me then you have to have a shot of soup.
Oh, yeah. So,
how does that work? Because I like to have a drink, and I love soup. I'm a big fan of soup.
Me too. We in Hispanic culture, well, not just Hispanic, we love to drink.
Yeah, so, every culture pretty much, except the ones that'll kill you for doing it. They like to drink too, I'm sure.
We have the mentality. There could be like a bottle of whiskey there, right? And you go to a lot of households that have like a little bit left. They'll save it. We can't see just a little bit left.
You have to finish.
We have to finish it. Like, no, that's wasteful. We gotta finish it. No.
You have to finish it. Yeah.
Right. So I like to drink, but the best I think cure for a hangover is when you're drunk to make chicken soup from scratch.
What was that you were saying? There's like a type of soup you were telling me. You have a drink of this.
Yeah. So my mom makes like a good chicken soup, but from scratch, like chicken.
Because I remember I was trying to hold it together the day you were telling me, and I was like, yeah.
But yeah. So I have chicken soup, but also I think we make a lot of rice too. Ooh. So like where my mom is from, like tortillas is like a big thing. Nice. So you have to, so it's carbs on carbs. You eat tortilla with rice and soup. And then it was actually my grandmother who showed me, before you wake up, just drink another beer to kind of kick it and give your body a shock.
Grandma knows what it is. And it was my grandmother who first showed me how to chase the hair of the dog. Just to take
But it actually works.
Of course.
I mean, but yeah, that's what we do.
Grandma knows what she's talking about.
The soup, the rice, the tortilla, and then the other downer of the beer, well, that'll be the cure.
It sounds like a fiesta.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, you got it.
Get some music going.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody starts moving and shit. That's it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what we do.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. Like, over here, just some Bud Heavies and a pie of pizza. That's New York for you.
Ugh, but imagine eating pizza after a hangover. No. Just, ugh.
That's it. Pack of Newport shorts, pizza, maybe a Sicilian pie, and some Bud Heavies. It's cold, but we've been lucky. We haven't had such a cold winter. I usually the more cold the winter is, the more I could really turn into like, one of those.
But I think
that
too,
New York flavor.
We use any excuse to drink, right? Oh, it's cold. Let me get something to drink. Oh, it's celebrating something, or even after accomplishing something. Oh, let's go for a drink. I had a rough day. I deserve a drink when I get home.
Absolutely. I just want to say real quick that this podcast is brought to you by directlivestreams.com. So if you're interested or you're looking to film or shoot your podcast, you could come check out the studio or check out the website at directlivestreams.com.
Go see it.
Absolutely, because look how beautiful this spot is. I mean,
and yeah, I know all the lighting shows all the angles.
Yeah, look how beautiful I look.
Yeah, look at you shine.
Yeah, I could have used some makeup, but it's okay. Look good. We got the Lurie legacy on. Oh wait,
yeah, that's it.
There's the legacy. It was almost hidden.
Just in case you didn't notice.
Yeah, just in case you didn't notice. Yeah, we got all the gear on. I'm like all branded out now. I don't even have any more of my. I don't buy any more clothes. I got my own brand.
But how you see Tyler right now is how you will find him all the time at the gym.
I swear, in like a couple more years, I'm gonna make a swag only bright colors, bright, shiny, rhinestones. You're gonna see me look like a freaking disco ball walking down the street. You're gonna see me from the street, lights shining. Like, is that a nightclub? No, it's Coach swinging on the bag. I was going to say, another cool thing was you actually got to see me being coached, which is important because I tell my students all the time, coaches have coaches. Coaches need coaches. And I think that's so important to always have somebody that's maybe a little higher level in the game that maybe did a little more. It becomes more than a coach. It's like a mentor, but coaches have coaches.
Yeah. I saw you that day at the competition. Your coach came to see you, and it was just, but he was just so like calm, cool, and collected. His demeanor. He was just sitting there like this, like, all right, Tyler, let's go for the underhook. But like it was, I said, cool to see you getting coached because all the time we look for you for help, and I could see you during the match. You were kind of just looking like for advice on what to do. I mean, you still kept your calm. And
it's always easier for somebody to see what's going on outside of the woods. Once you're in the trees, it's hard to see what's coming out from where and where. So it's always good to have somebody in your corner that's a higher level or that's done it, that has been there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or an expert in one of their levels or something like that. But that was actually one of my coaches that hasn't even coached me in 3 years. I don't even see him that often. He opened up his own location. It was a last-minute thing that I was doing this competition, and I had a bunch of lower belts going to compete at another one. So I had one of my other coaches from Gracie Baja, Long Island, was coaching at another tournament. So my coach, Carlos, who I hadn't seen for a while because he opened up his own academy, a black belt under Joe Scarola. He opened up his own academy in, I believe it's North Babylon, something like that, his own Gracie Baja. He's been having his own gym for like 3 years now. So basically we both started our own gym at the same time, and we trained for 6 years. So he knows me. Even though he hadn't seen me train really for like 2-3 years, he still knows my game. He knows everything. So it was so awesome to like have that connection again with somebody.
Sure.
You could tell like.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I was talking to you earlier how I'm sure you did a lot of competitions and you trained for a long time, but I'm assuming that the nerves are still there. I think it's normal to be nervous.
Yeah.
And it must have been nice having someone there, like, rooting for you and telling you,
Of course, and I didn't even know he was going to be there. I saw him there because he was coaching his students. And I was like, yo, Carl, coach me real quick. He's like, yeah, let me know when we go. And I was like, all right. And then I just ran over to him. He coached me. And boom, beautiful.
Yeah.
Got a W.
How did it feel being, because it was like 2 years since you trained, right? Or did the competition, right?
Oh, since the competition? I did, 2 years. It felt good. I got really nervous, like, before. But once I start cutting the weight and once I get to, like, that weight, like, I just trained. I really told myself, like, I did everything. Like, I did everything. The rest is just up, like, I didn't miss any running. I ate clean. Like, I did all my workouts. Like, you see, even after the classes, I'd stay and work out. Nobody be there, just me and you. Mm-hmm. Like, I went after it. So I was like, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to grow from this situation. And since I've done it so many times, and I know at the end of the day, your friends are going to still treat you the same. Yeah, your sister's going to say the same, whatever. Everybody's going to say the same, So, yeah. people are gonna love you. They love you before and they love you after. Win, lose, or draw. If they only love you because you won, then screw them. If they don't love you because you lost, well then screw them.
Right. No, I think in the end all that's true. But before, because this is my very first match, and I know like a lot of people were coming and people coming from the gym, and you wanna look decent and act like you know what you're doing when you're there.
Don't get me wrong. I'm going to the bathroom like a freaking dog. I'm like pooping and peeing. I don't know how there's any more left.
Yeah.
I get nervous. Don't lie. If
I went to the bathroom like 3 times before I actually went on the mat. I was just so nervous. It was like, I have to go to the bathroom.
I'd like have to cut weight, and I'd be like, all right, 3 more pounds. I'd literally go on the Naga website, see the brackets, and I'd have to go to the bathroom. That was my trick to like go to the bathroom, was to see the bracket. Yeah, it makes you fucking nervous. You're like, you're going to fight somebody, or you're going to, roll, or trying to win, beat another human being that's out there on the opposite end with there's somebody out there. There's an adversary out there. It's real, and when it's real, there's somebody that's coming. You both want it. It's going to be
and especially, you don't know who you're going against, or like I said, this is my very first match. And actually, when we went to weigh in Thursday night or the night before the actual competition.
Did you see her there?
No, I didn't. But so when I went in, I met you and Corey there.
And we don't know what they look like anyway.
No, but for me, I mean, who my opponent wasn't really matter to me. I'm like, whoever's gonna be, it's gonna be. I have no control over that.
When I walk in there, I start getting psycho. I start like giving the eye. I'm like, are you the fucking guy I gotta fight? I'm like, who looks like they're 149 pounds between the ages of 30 and 39? And then I fucking give him the death stare. The guy's like, and then I see him go out and smoke a cigarette. I'm like, all right, I guess that's not the guy. That was maybe his like buddy. I should have figured he was wearing street clothes.
Because of you, was starving for the past 3 days.
I'm staring at people in street clothes. Like, is it you? Are you about to take that jacket off? And yeah, because I was starving. And then and I didn't know.
You had to go through this.
I had to step up my my level too, because I'm a brown belt, and the only people that they had for me at the level was black. And the guy that I was going against was from Renzo Gracie Academy in New York City, which is like the best jiu-jitsu academy in the world. And he's a no-gi guy, which had the best no-gi guys in the world, because like the whole Danaher Death Squad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this guy going to try to rip my knees off? Because they're all leg lock experts in like really, really the biggest, best known in like the world. So I'm like, is this guy going to try to do my legs? Then he wanted to do a wrestling match with me. So we wrestled. He stuffed like 3 shots. The 4th one, blast double, side control, points, and then the time was up.
I noticed too, but I noticed the difference between like the belts, like or how I competed versus how you competed. When I saw you move, like everything just looked so slow, like a lot calm, cool, and collected. I remember when I first started, I just wanted to go, and just it was. I think with time and with practice, you kind of just, with the black belts or the brown belts, just like calculating. Like, the first move.
You don't want to lose position. You want to secure everything. And if you're moving too quickly, you're going to be not like securing. I mean, yeah, we're moving quickly though. When we're shooting, when we're going, like when I watched the video, I thought it was, we were going fast at first.
No, you were. But
once you get to the ground.
I could definitely tell the difference between or how I was competing and when I saw you do it. I was just amazed. Like I said, watching you was just...
Well, your match was a lot more, like, intense.
Yeah.
My match was more just wrestling. Like I said, it was wrestling match for, like, 2-3 minutes, takedown, side control. You had up, down, roll, get out of the submission. You had a war.
Yeah.
Me and this guy, we had, like, a battle, but if we, you guys had a war. If you had a second round, it would still be a war.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Back to what I was saying, too. I was so nervous for the day of weigh-in. I think that day I came into the gym early. I came in like a sauna suit.
I had to slow you down because you cut so much weight. I was like, Rock, she's like, yeah, I'm at point. I'm like, so why you keep on cutting? You're like, I want to lose more. I was like, that's not today.
Yeah, but you start getting paranoid, and because when you want it so badly, you want to just make sure you're there. And I had a goal weight as like by this amount of time, I want to be X amount of pounds. I wanted to make it to what's the next lower weight, because that was at heavyweight, so I wanted to make it to the cruiserweight, it's called. So that was a lot of pressure too, was putting on myself, not only to make sure I was ready to compete, but then to knowing that I had to lose more weight. And it was just, if I didn't make it, it was fine. Like, if it was just a few pounds over, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But it was just more another goal for myself, another milestone that I would reach for myself.
Yeah, and like you said, don't put too much pressure. Just to compete alone was a huge one.
Yeah.
And then the next one, now you got that. Now you can go to the next. And
Yes.
But when you put all that thing, that's how you end up on a sauna suit the day of competition, trying to run further, and you're going to exhaust yourself more than you ever have. But I was in there with you, too. I cut that a little bit of weight with you that day. Yeah, it was me and you in the gym, cutting the weight.
And, but that night I made weight, and I signed up for gi and no gi. And then, so after I weighed in, one of the refs there, when he was registering
how many matches did you have? 3 or 4 that day?
2. I was only supposed to have 1 because after I finished weighing in, he said, we don't have anyone in your weight bracket to compete against. You only have for no gi. But he said, when you come in tomorrow, just ask, and maybe by then someone will sign up. Nice. So I came in, and I said, when I weighed in last night, there wasn't anyone in my weight bracket. I don't know if anyone signed up or if anything changed. And he said, well, we have someone for you, but she's a blue belt. I was like, okay, let's go. And I was more happy that I had it because I wanted 2 matches. I wanted to do gi and no gi. So, of course, I was nervous. So I was like, oh, man, now I'm going up someone who has more experience and more advanced. But I just took it as, you know what, the worst that can happen is I won't win. But I think I ended up doing much better in the second match than in my first one.
What about when I almost got into the fight with the other sensei at the jiu-jitsu tournament? Dude, that was the highlight of the tournament.
I didn't even realize that was happening. I just all of a sudden noticed you guys like talking. You were like, no, that's not happening. And
Dude, I was at the tournament. I'm coaching Corey. Corey's in a match. He had like 3-4 matches already. He just got submitted. He's exhausted. He walked off the mat. Me and him are talking. I'm giving him a hug. I'm like, good job. Like, some guy runs up into his face. You want to go against my student right now? And Corey, like, he's like, okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't say. I have to, like, step in. I'm like, no, Corey's done right now. And I'm like, who are you? And the guy's like, who am I? Who the hell are you? I'm like, I'm Tyler. Who are you? He's like, you want to fight right now? And the guy's 60 years old, and he looks like he's, like, ready to go. And
yeah, I saw him. I know he's, yeah. And I didn't know what was going on. But like
there was some Cobra Kai, some serious Cobra Kai. I want you to fight I was like, why don't you ask the guy that just won to fight your guy? Like, my guy's done. He trained all day. He's had plenty of matches. It's the end of the day. It's 5 o'clock. Like, we're done. And then the guy calls me. He's like, all right, you're a fake black belt. And he grabs my belt. And my belt was obviously brown. And I go to him. I go, it's brown, dude. I never said it was black. And he was so angry. But that was funny.
Yeah.
But I got very protective over Corey because I'm like, who is this guy? He was trying to, like, I don't know, lure him in or some weird shit. I never seen anything like that at a tournament before.
Yeah, no, Corey's so sweet. He'll just say, yeah, sure. And I think, thinking back to coming off the mat, you're exhausted, but I'm happy you were there too to stop it because they said Corey literally was just coming off the mat.
30 seconds,
yeah,
dude.
Not even a full
He was
minute.
huffing it, but not even a full minute.
No.
That's why other coaches and other fighters aren't allowed in a cage or in a ring after a fight. The only people allowed in are the people from your corner, your people. This guy tried, like, that's like imagine 2 people just fought and now this guy jumps in. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It was insane, but let me ask a question about food.
Okay.
How have you learned about, like, eating and cooking? How have we? Because obviously you've made a huge change in your diet. But and we all love food, obviously.
Oh yeah. I know. I still love to eat, and I can still chow down really well to this day. I think, starting out before I really started working out and eating healthy seriously, like fast food was my diet. It was takeout. It was.
You live around the corner from that Wendy's.
I do. I have every excuse in the book not to eat healthy. I have literally everything at my fingertips. Like around the corner is Chinese.
Well, we all do now with these.
Oh, even too, yeah. But I even think too. Well, another thing that's, I guess, hard to admit when I'm a food addict too. So like, and people kind of laugh like, oh yeah, I love food. I'm like, no, but I tell people like it's like a real thing. Or when you're addicted to drugs and alcohol, everyone needs something they need to go to deal with stress, to deal with life. And like, food is my thing. I was never a smoker. I like to drink, but I mean,
well, you're transferring addictions, right?
Yeah,
now. You're turning your negative addictions into positive, and that's what fitness and I'm like, that's what I tell people. Like, if you're addicted, you would get your ass at 3 a.m. up to go get
what
that
you
food.
want, right? It doesn't matter. You can have like $10 in your pocket. Oh, all right, let's go.
Use that energy to get yourself to do something positive that might suck now, but you know in the future is going to be beneficial to you.
Oh, yeah, no, sure. And I think, like I said, the mentality was a complete 360. But back to, so like I said, my diet was just fast food all the time and just not eating. So when I didn't cut it out 100%, I have it every now and then, but those aren't normal things, like everyday things, like getting Wendy's for lunch, having pizza for dinner. My biggest thing was, like, I love rice. I love rice. I love bread, all the carbs, and I cut that out all completely. I think that was the biggest change for me, was letting go. And it wasn't, I didn't cut it out completely. Like, if I had bread, it would just be whole wheat bread. I didn't want to follow like a specific plan. Like, I didn't want to do keto because, and I'm not disregarding keto. It works for some people. It just wasn't for me. But every now and then, like, I want to have rice.
Yeah,
I want to have a sweet potato. I don't want to go crazy. And, like, I like having those things. I just controlled how much I ate. I had
it's all lifestyle.
Right.
You can't live any type of diet for it's lifestyle. I can't say I'm never gonna have pizza. I'm never gonna.
No.
You have the lifestyle, and the lifestyle you're allowed to introduce things into the lifestyle.
Right, and I want it to be realistic too. I think that's why a lot of times people fail when dieting. I don't like to call it that because it's really just a new way of life, new way of healthy eating. Is that, okay, I'm not gonna have pizza. I'm not gonna have ice cream ever again. I'm gonna be straight. I'm gonna have X amount of calories, and it's. And in the ideal world, if we can control over that, that'll be great. But it's not realistic. And but I think just from that, just no soda. I used to drink a lot of soda, iced tea. Just getting rid of all of those things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, like I said, Rock, I'm so super proud of you and all the weight that you've lost. And besides that, just watching you and overcoming all your struggles, from the frustrations of first learning jiu-jitsu or the struggle of running around that block for that first time.
Running a block, yes, running to the stop sign was a goal. I remember too. I think was about 2 weeks into. I was always like the last person to come back, and then you met me at the stop sign and I started running back. I was like, I don't know if I can ever run around, but even like my running, my cardio has gotten a lot better.
Everything. So super proud of you. We have another 90 coming up again February 24th. So if anybody out there wants to be a part of it, be more than happy to have you come. You could see me in real life, see Raquel in real life. 21 Rider Place, East Rockaway, Lurie Fit. Anything you want to say to the people?
Yeah, well, I would just say thank you, first and foremost, for everything you've done. I don't think you realize how much you changed my life. I never thought once joining Lurie Fit, things that happened that would happen. I'm so happy and grateful that I met you. Everyone at the gym too, and I'm not gonna go into all the names, but everyone there, who, for all your constant support and love towards me, and your belief in me has helped me so much. And I want to say to anyone who's trying to lose weight that it is possible. It's not easy. It takes a lot of prayer. And I'm not a religious person, but and you have to really believe in yourself. You're not going to believe in yourself all the time. And things get really hard, but at the end of the tunnel, there is a light. I promise you. Don't take the easy way out. Don't take these diet pills or people trying to sell you stuff. Just take it one day at a time. You could start saying, you know what, tomorrow I'm just going to walk 2 blocks. And then from there, set goals. But to value yourself, to love yourself, because just because you're overweight, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You can change. Everyone has something special to offer, and you're important. People look at heavy-set people. Sometimes you forget that they're human. You don't know why they got to where they're at. Sometimes life is just hard, and things happen, and you let yourself go. But anyone who's out there is listening, it is possible. Take it one day at a time. I did it. I know what it's like. And just even now, even losing the 90 pounds, I don't say, hey, I made it. I've conquered my eating problems and all of that. It's still a struggle all the time. I struggle all the time. I don't have it down pat. I'm always learning, but know there is someone out there like you who really understands what it's like. And again, don't give up on yourself. You can do it. You're important. And thank you to you and again to everyone for all the support and love. And I can't wait to see what else happens. I'm ready for this 90. I'm ready for, I'm thinking about my next jiu-jitsu competition. So let's go. Let's do it.
All right, guys, you heard it. And just like that, Raquel's just such an inspiration to me, too, to everybody. And you're just she's really a pleasure to have around. The one thing is, she's never given me, like, any attitude or anything like that. She's always just such a pleasure to have around. That really makes you want to go the extra mile. So I just want to say thank you so much. And this amazing podcast is, again, brought to you by directlivestream.com. So if you, too, want to get up in the studio and get your time going, directlivestream.com. Thanks, you guys so much.
Thanks,
Raquel,
Tyler.
amazing. I'll see you in the gym, 5:15.
Yeah, see you there.